All right, grasshoppers. Excuse me. It is Thursday morning, 10 o'clock as scheduled. I like this. Keep this going. It's Thursday morning show. Kind of quiet, not much going on. Breaking news. You guys will be very proud of me. I'll tell the story again. Obviously, there's nobody on right now, but people are watching it later on. It's recorded. So the in our condominium complex, as you know, I've deemed myself the what am I? I'm the keeper of the faith or keeper of the rules. And that's obviously my deem myself that. So they were doing power washing in all the units. And in my back deck, the tiki torch deck, I have two tiki torches set up, bamboo tiki torches. I only use one. So take the Mimsy, how are you doing, you magical creature? Where are you here? There you are. Mimsy. So you're proud of Mimsy. So they came in with the power washing on my back deck to clean the walls and broke one of the tiki torches. Now, it's like 5 years old. Lorraine, how are you? Magical woman. So they came in and broke one of the tiki torches. Now, my first response was like, oh, God, they broke that tiki torch. And I thought, you know what? Settle down. It's an old tiki torch. You can use to get a new. You don't use it anyways. It's kind of like the spare tiki torch. So the guy saw me come out, and the thing was laying on the ground, and he was concerned that I was going to be upset. Susan, how are you? Magical woman. And so I thought to myself, you know what, Tom? You don't use it, so calm down. The guy looked at me like, kind of like, okay, how's this going to go here? And I said, don't worry about it. Felt really good. Took the high road. Wasn't using the tiki torch anyways. It gives me an excuse. Like July and August for me is just really quiet, so it gives me an excuse to go to Home Depot today. I need to get some Drano or liquid plumber, and debate. I'll stand there for a few minutes and debate whether I want to get another tiki torch or not. I really don't need it, but so that's the exciting news that's happened recently. Me not losing control. So I think that's kind of a breakthrough, actually. So, what's going on? What a signing. See where Saquon Barkley with the Giants signed it's a big debate. I listen to Boomer all the time in the morning, Boomer Esiason. Big debate about these running backs not getting much. He's a heck of a player, but the history shows that they're, they get hurt a lot. They have a big season where they run a lot and get hurt, and then next season is very good. So the GMs have learned to not spend too much money on Dougie DeVito. Let me see. Hold on. Do you hold tribal councils? Do I hold tribal councils? Yeah, I guess you could, Susan. Yeah. Dougie DeVito, you magical man. Deb, you're here too. Yes. All right. My favorites are here. Rod Jameson's here too from up in Buffalo, New York. You magical man, you veteran. Thank you for all your service. Do we hold tribal councils? That's interesting. Susan, that you asked that. Tribal councils were fun. That was a blast. That was probably one of the best parts of being on Survivor. So we could do our own tribal council. Maybe we'll have a tribal council when we try to get like IRA voted off or something like that. We get our barbecue going. We gotta get that set up. I gotta get on. So two things I gotta get going on. What happens to me during July and August? I don't know how you guys are. It gets so quiet. I just kind of get in that mood, like, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow kind of thing. And gotta get going. So we got to get on that cooking show. Actually, Susan was great. She sent me the people who are the casting for the cooking shows. Excuse me. And then we've got to get on that barbecue as well. So I got an email from Larry Melnick. I saw it this morning. Good morning, Tom. As always, thank you for giving us. Thank you, Jack. Great to see you guys. It's fun for me too. It's different, right? When it's just me, because then it's more interactive with you guys. It's a lot of fun when you get somebody else on the show, then especially Larry, because it's gonna be all about Larry all the time. So Larry sends me an email. Like, obviously, he's had a few PBRs last night. You can't cancel without a chief. With the grand poobah. Yeah, there you go. So we had tribal councils boss. Okay, so Larry sends me an email. Sorry, I get bouncing around here. And I got it this morning. So he sent 2 emails to the great Jackie DiPiazza that sets up all our events and everything for the alumni. And I spoke to Jackie, and there's something special they're trying to do for this golf tournament this year, the Rangers golf tournament. And until they find out if they can get that pulled off, and that kind of determines who gets, they'll invite to bring in for the golf tournament. So I've informed Larry of that. I think he had a few too many PBRs last night and started complaining again that Jackie hadn't got back to him. Well, I told him what the schedule is or what the plan is. So, but that happens, people have beverages, and that kind of gets in the way. So, Dougie DeVito, Mimsy, Sierra Lane, everybody, geez, all magical people. Susan, Jack Smith, is the Fu Manchu coming back? Tom Smith suggested making a return. I'm a big fan of Boomer and Gio in the morning on WFAN here in New York, and then the CBS Sports. And they were actually, Gio's all over that, talking about how mustaches are coming back. Mine's turned, it's I can get a nice thick one going, but it's a different color than it used to be. So, I don't know. It's funny looking back at those pictures, right? When I had that Fu Manchu going on. You think to yourself, like, what was I thinking? Because we've talked about this before. Going back there, it obviously seems like it was a good idea at the time. I see Susan. I'm sorry. Tribal Council, yes. The Tiki Torches, yes. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, that was. And I tell you, like the whole setup there for the Tribal Council, it's the real deal. Like it's not just like a facade that for the cameras. The whole thing is like it's even behind the scenes. It's the real deal. And it was fun. Like start raining or whatever, you just keep on powering through it. Yeah, that was class. I remember looking forward to it. I tell you, they don't treat you nice there. When you sit there for a couple of hours, you're in this tent with no chairs or whatever, bugs everywhere. And yeah, they don't want you. People are watching you. They don't want you talking because there's no cameras there, so you can't talk to each other. So you're just sitting there. It's kind of weird as you go on because if you've been there for a while, you built relationships with people, you're talking, joking around. And then when you go to Tribal Council or Tribal Challenges, there's no cameras there. There's no talking whatsoever. They're there. They have young people there, like kind of yelling at you too. It's like, back away. I'm 60 years old. Don't say yelling at me. But yeah. Whatever happened with your podcast, Kevin? It kind of. That's a great question. It just kind of fade away. You do them for a while. People get busy. He's got his family there, and he's a great family guy. So it came kind of hardly. He used to have the kids in the background. So I've just learned with the podcast to try to, again, like Tom Smith's taught me a lot, like doing the Full Change podcast. It's make it much more professional, the sound and the mics and all that kind of stuff. So nothing major happened. It just kind of fade away not too long. Okay. My brother's getting married. Married toy. He's a married toy. When does one allow post-marriage failure allow peace in the family? My brother is getting married. I said, I'm assuming he's saying today. When does one allow a past marriage failure allow peace in the family? That's actually a very good question, Ron. When does one allow a past marriage failure allow peace in the family? I guess it kind of depends, right? Like let's say it's your family, you were married to this woman. How close was she to the rest of your family? What was the reason for the divorce? But I hate to say it like this, especially being a twice divorced man. It's almost like marriage is like here. It's almost too easy to get divorced now. But great question, Ron. I honestly don't have the answer, but I would say, your family is the most important thing to you, right? And I think and I'm not great at it either. It's a communication thing, like explaining to your family how much you love them and, what happened, and again, sometimes with marriages or divorces, when money's involved, kids are involved, especially when kids are involved, you've really got to suck it up. That's the one good thing I guess I did as far as relationships, when I got divorced from my first wife, who I had my 2 sons with. We divorced well. I don't know if that's good or bad, but to her credit as well, we both said, listen, let's make sure we take care of the kids. And, the marriage, and plus the marriage is long gone. There's nothing there anymore. The divorce was actually a relief to both of us. So I guess there's so many circumstances around to cover. Let me see here. What do we got here? I never had a beard until COVID and didn't know if I could go. Yeah. Yeah, it's the gray hair. It's the difference, right? Yeah, mine's actually pretty thick. I can grow a beard and all that, but it's different color now. Big Brother. Yeah, I consider doing Big Brother. Yeah, that'd be a blast. I love those things. It's kind of like the challenge of the whole thing. Like I do not to vote Survivor. There's only like 600 or 700 people have ever done the show, so it's kind of like that that thing. Like, wow, right back at it. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, even like we've joked around before about taking the truck driving classes. Guys are laughing like, "What are you taking truck driving school for?" But it's just something. I guess I've always had that in me where I just want to try different things all the time. Make sure, don't sit back later on when you get to be in your 60s and 70s and say, "Geez, I wish I'd done that." Go get it done. First comes engagement ring, then the wedding ring, and then the suffering. I've heard similar stuff to that, Dougie. That was good. The suffering for both parties too. It's not just a guy thing. It's like you get married. Like I look at my sons, man, they're incredible. They're just totally. It seems like they have a fantastic relationship. I think it's just picking the right person, right? Meaning not overlooking red flags and making sure you're with the right person. So. Let me see here. Okay, I'm totally missing this one. So I was going to explain that this is an error on Ira's part or DCCC. I'm missing it. Let me see here. Yeah, American Gladiator. I'd love to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. I told this before, but the reason the whole Survivor thing got started because of Amazing Race. And approached me about that. I hadn't really watched it that much. And I went and watched it. The only problem I have, I'm not great with heights. And some of the shows I saw with them, like there was one there's one of those things floating across a big ravine, and they're hanging out underneath. And I know they're all tethered, so they can't really fall. But still, just the thought of getting up there, you get through it. It's just. Big Brother Tom in the shower. I didn't want to go. Oh, that was funny. I can picture that right now. It's one of those things you look back at times you remember like exactly how the room was, how crowded it was, where she was standing, where I was. Probably something that she just remembers over and over too. Like she can't get it out of her mind. Seeing me naked. Yeah, right. Need to find my balance. All right, Ron. Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing people ask me, like, what do you do for fun? And I just believe that I've really, and over the years, I've gotten better at it, is build a life that I just really love. And again, it's different too. My sons have grown. I'm single. So I really just have to worry about my life and doing what I want to do. But again, also being aware, because of all the True Grit life, that I'm responsible for other people too. That people, I like the role I have now, where it's influencing other people. People approach me. We've got a great event coming up next Thursday. Actually, mentioned this shoulder check. It's called. It's at the Terry Connors rink in Stamford, Connecticut. Young boy, family lost their son about a year ago. He's a 16-year-old hockey player from Darien. So a tough time. Obviously, I spoke to the father the other day. We're going to try to get him on a show. The rink, the event itself is sold out, but it's an ongoing program, Shoulder Check. So it's designed to help, particularly young people, help each other. So reach out to young people and say, "Okay, are you okay? You feel like hurting yourself at all?" Those kinds of things. It isn't just for young kids, but it's a great project. I mean, because it's such a tough time for parents, losing their son. So they're, instead of sitting around, they want to do something else to help other people. So it's a great cause. But I think that's it's being around good people. That's what I've learned too. And as you build this, I call it my magical life. I love my life. So I realized what happens is you're around better people. You meet better people all the time. You're reaching out to helping other people really helps you a lot too. So it's to your question, Ron, need to find my balance. What is your basic? What is my basic? So I guess it's really, it's really becoming comfortable with who you are, loving yourself, like working on that physically, emotionally, being around good people, eating good foods. You want to be healthy physically, so you go to the gym, exercise. You don't have to go to the gym. I say gym all the time, but it's whatever exercise you want to do. Be in movement, move all the time. And same thing with your mind. It's putting healthy things in your mind, being around healthy people. You don't have to have friends. Like, don't be around people who are. Doesn't mean they're necessarily bad people, but if it's like people that are negative people, always talking about the bad things in life. Like, we have all these little things. Even going through the week, you get up Monday morning, people are like, oh, it's Monday morning. Well, don't take that attitude. It's another day. Like, where did we come up with this rule that you have 5 days of working where you don't enjoy your life and you have 2 days of having fun? That is created by somebody else. Again, that's not the way you have to live. I mean, yes, you have to work, you have to pay your bills, you got to take care of your family, all those things. But get away from just assuming that, okay, people say it's supposed to be this way. Who made that rule up? I saw a video the other day on how true it was or not, talking about how breakfast was created. Breakfast really wasn't a thing before, but it was like, this is the video, and I'm assuming there's some truth to it. The sausage makers and bacon, they weren't selling much of their products, so they had a marketing team get together and create this whole thing about breakfast, and that it's eggs and sausage and bacon. Well, where's the rule that says you have to eat eggs and sausages and bacon and pancakes for breakfast? Eat whatever you want for breakfast. I'm using that as an example, but like more taking charge of your life and you determining whether you're happy about your life or not. Don't let somebody else, don't let other outside sources like the news or whatever, like watching the news. It's better to go, to me, it's better to go research. If you want to find something out, it's like I've got rid of my cable now, so I don't watch. I have YouTube, smart TV, so I'll watch YouTube. You can get all your news sources on YouTube or other places instead of listening to somebody else's opinion. It is overlapping. It's overlapping. Sorry, Susan. I'm overlapping. Could be the way I talk. Right? Let me see here. Yeah, I'd like to do amazing. What's going on here? All right. Big Brother, Tom in the Shower, and Mark's Goldie on. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Goldie Hawn did a movie in 1986 and played a high school football coach. Walks in the locker room. That's right. You know what? Because she saw me naked, and she said, "Well, I want to do a movie about that." Yeah. So yeah, there's no use hiding from it. It's like people don't want to discuss the suicide issue that we have going on. Young people, older people. There's so much. Again, we talk about the negativity in the world, social media. Young kids get on social media. They see beautiful people on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and then they look at themselves and they don't feel they're worthy. It's just, it's us. It's more everybody taking charge and saying, asking people, are you okay? Do you need help? It's just a lot. And I'm not saying this has solved the whole issue, but a lot of it is just people knowing that there's other people out there that really care about them. And again, not trying to suggest that because you go up to some stranger in the street, it looks like they're in trouble, and you ask how they're doing, that's going to solve the issue. But it's a start. It's something you can do to really help other people. So, the sheriff's event. No, I have not been invited. That's a fun event to go to. I have not been invited to that. Again, I've talked about this in the past. Sometimes I'm kind of like the last minute. I guess I'm single, kids are growing, all that, so I'm available most of the time, especially this time of the year to do stuff. So, my pleasure, Ron Jameson. You're a magical man. So, and that's the thing. Like Ron's a really good person. He's a veteran, served his country. Like I dwell on this a little. We just need to, as individuals, make sure we're reaching out to other people. You don't even have to know the person. If you're walking down the street and you look at somebody like, these look like they're distressed a little bit. It does backfire sometimes. Probably about 2 months ago, I was in the city, and this elderly woman was walking. It was kind of like an uphill. I can't remember what street it was on. And she was struggling to walk. She sat down on a chair outside a restaurant, and I thought, well, geez, I'll ask her if she's okay. And I said, "Are you okay?" She got mad at me, like I was insulting her. Like, yes, I'm okay. She's not so bad. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's like, so it's not like it changed my world. Just I wanted to make sure she knew that if she needed help, I was there for her. But she's like that proud woman, like, no, I'm not. I don't need any help. And I'm the same way. So it's like, you kind of laughed about it. See, yeah, what do we got? Every day I have oatmeal and blueberries, and now see that the Boomer also does. Joe goofs on Boomer's oatmeal. Yeah. The only thing, listen, the oatmeal's, you just got to be careful oatmeal a little bit what you put on it, like too much brown sugar and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Boomer's always talking about it. They're funny. I get a kick out of those guys, and the whole combination of like all five, and like there's people that don't watch the show. It's Boomer Esiason's show. Jerry's the kind of the grouchy guy that does the updates, and Al, and that other guy Eddie that does the Eddie Scazzeri, I think his name is. So he's got all these outtakes from previous shows that he puts in at very inappropriate times. Like they could be talking about a woman, and Boomer, he's got a tape of recording of Boomer saying like huge jugs or something like that. So Eddie drops it in, and it's hilarious because his time, like his timing, he's able to find. He's got thousands of these outtakes, drops, I think they call them, and it's a funny show. So they're all on together. They're a great combination. So if people get a chance to watch them. Yep. Stuff like blueberries. Yeah. The only bad, and I'm being negative here, but the only bad thing with the fruits is you got to be careful. There's a lot of sugar in most fruits. But again, it's how much sugar you're bringing into your body. Again, I use that MyFitPal app. If everybody wants to use it, it's great for tracking your foods, track your macros. So that's your carbs, your fat, your protein. It's also like all your nutrients, how many the trans fats, and all that kind of stuff you're getting in. So again, we talked about some like being careful with how much sugar and salts you take in. But it isn't just about that one meal. If you're not bringing many salt or sugar, those kind of things, then having salt or sugar isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just how much and how often you bring that in your body. So when you use an app, you can use different apps, but I use MyFitPal. And again, it will show you, it gives you a visual, like it gives you a pie chart, like how much, so you put in your activity level, your weight, your age, and everything. And it'll tell you how much of your diet should be fats, protein, and carbs. But it is a little tricky because if you're eating a lot of salmon and avocados, for example, that are very good for you, but they have a lot of fat, but good fats in it. So if you look at the macros, if you're eating a lot of salmon and avocado, it may show that your fats are higher than it should be. But that's when you then go to the nutrients and see, well, okay, that's not bad fats, it's good fats to have. So, yes. Let me see here. We'll bounce around. We'll come back to the whole diet stuff. Major loss. Yeah. So Bergeron retiring, man, what a career. I mean, there's certain athletes that look back at their career. When I was in Asian business, I've talked about this before. I had Dallas Drake, who really wasn't a star in the league, but he got I look back at his career and I told him this when he retired. I said, wow, he got so much out of his career. And Patrice Bergeron is certainly one of those guys, playing through all the injuries he played through, the way he played consistently, being a leader, professional, the way he carried himself. Yeah, he can look back at his career and go, and there's not much more. He won cups, the awards he won, just that, and really like help build a culture there in Boston that would hopefully for the Boston people, Boston fans, that carries on. It seems like well there too. All right, what's my favorite kitchen gadget? Non-appliance. Wow, kitchen gadget. You know what? It sounds strange. I was always one of those guys before. I would never use a thermometer, a meat thermometer. I'll just cut it open, see if it's how rare it is, whatever. And my son finally gave me a meat thermometer 5 years ago. And I've learned, like, I like to cook like a pork tenderloin, for example. It's a lean protein. I put it in the air fryer. It's easy to cook up. It takes no time at all. You season up you want. You don't have to season up. It's whatever you want. And I've learned that's one of those foods, like others, like cods like that, salmons like that if you overcook it, now it changes the flavor and the texture of the meat. So like I've learned with my pork tenderloin, try to take it out of the air fryer when it's like at 125 degrees, and then let it rest for 5-10 minutes, and then it gets that nice little pink inside, nice and juicy and everything. So that it's a tiny little thing, but it really helps with cooking a lot to learn, okay, what temperature do I need to get it out of the oven at? And then you've got the meat thermometer to get it the right temperature. No problem, Ron Jameson. You're a magical man. You can get a hug anytime you want. We all need that every once in a while. I actually took a little bit of a mental health day today. I was, I'm up every day at 3:30. The key is for me, the discipline thing, like not do it randomly, not wake up one morning and say, okay, I'm just going to take the day off today. Like plan it. Say, okay, I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. So I know waking up in the morning, okay, Tom, you're allowed to go back to sleep. I like to, again, I want to show people that if you want to accomplish something, it's about discipline every day showing up, but you do also need to take some times off. And again, this is the time of year for me, the stuff that I do where like July and August is just to try to force things to happen. Just doesn't work. All right. Eddie with the drops are so funny. Like Fred. Yeah. Isn't he fun? Like Eddie's hilarious. Like he really changes the show. We're talking about Boomer and Geo in the morning, again on WFAN here in New York, and then on CBS Sports TV, because he's so inappropriate too. You can tell he just wants to embarrass Boomer and Geo by how inappropriate he is with the comments. Like that's, and even if they have a guest on. Like an attractive, he's done it like Boomer gets an attractive woman on or something like that doing the show, and Eddie will have a tape of Boomer saying nice jugs, like while the woman's on the show. And she hasn't watched the show, doesn't know what's going on. She's like, what is happening? But yeah. Oh God. I'm with you. Like it's just it's still a fun show when maybe Boomer's not on or Eddie's on vacation, whatever that happens during the summer. But it's hilarious when they're on. It's supposed to be a sports talk show, but they get on some funny stuff, and they're pretty good. Like Gio's good with his imitations. Boomer like really plays it up that he's the former athlete. What's he call the other guys? NARPs, non-athletic real people. I think he calls them. So, can I core an apple? I got a little thing that somebody gave me. I can't remember. It cores the apple for me, so it's like it's got. I can't describe how it is. It's round, and it's got. I'll do a video of it, and it basically cores. You push down on it, cores the apple, and slice the apple into slices too. So, yes, I can do it without that, but it's so much easier. So I'm making apple pie, especially at Christmas and Thanksgiving. I love listening to your agent versus GM battles with Doug Sotar. I said Dennis looks just like him. Amazing. Dennis is with the Dallas. Oh, I didn't know Dennis was with the Dallas Stars. Huh? Yeah. So that's the thing, when you're in the agent business. So a lot of guys, there wasn't many former players that became agents. A lot of guys would get into the as scouts or coaches or general managers, some position. So when you're an agent, you now have to fight for your client, and it doesn't matter who the person is on the other side. So in that case of Doug Sotar, I had a guy. Actually, he'd gone to my college too. A young little guy, was a good little goal scorer. And I was representing him, and he was playing in Kansas City, I think, where Doug was at that time. And we got into a battle over contract negotiation. It got a little testy to us, yeah. And again, and that's the thing. To his credit, he's got to fight for the team. I've got to fight for my player. It doesn't matter who, that we used to be teammates, because there's always that bond when the guys that you play with. And even now, I've noticed, even if it's not a guy that you played with, just a guy that played in the NHL, there's that bond, right? The kind of brotherhood. What are you looking for in a girl? Ira, you do know how to stir the pot. What am I looking for in a girl? See, that's the thing. It's actually a very good question, but I guess I don't know how to answer that question. Part of my issue now too is I've been single for so long that you think, oh, geez, it'd be nice to have a girlfriend. And then you get a girlfriend, you're like, geez, it's nice to be alone, be left alone. And that's not the girl's fault. It's not like you're doing something wrong. So I guess it's somebody that understands that, it's nice to, it's not, you don't want to offend anybody else, but he's like, maybe I just like to be alone sometimes. So, but 65. Maybe that ship has sailed. Brian Duffy, you magical maniac, you. I mean that in a good way too. How you doing, Brian? Good to see you. Another veteran there. Danny Erickson. Yes, you're late to the party. I was getting a haircut. I thought about getting the Laidlaw look, but there's still some grass up there. Yeah. I remember my sons are smaller. They would say to me, Dad, you got a peninsula on top of your head. And then eventually the peninsula went away and became an island. And we decided, it's time to get rid of that. That's a tough thing for men sometimes. It didn't really bother me that much. I think it's the shape of your head people worry about, But I've heard a lot of women say that it's a sign of confidence that you just shave your head right off, the hair right off. Yeah, just go with it. It is one of those things too, isn't it funny? Like even I've talked in the past about when I got done playing, I got in Asia business and I was still in the player mode, having 6, 8, 10 beers every night. Like we did back then. And I gotta stop. I kind of scared myself. I realized I had to stop, and I drink for like 5 years. And one of the weirdest things that I thought was, what are people going to think of me now that I don't have a beer or a drink? And I think back to why was I worried? Why was I worried about that? That's part of like going back to Ron's question before, like how do you find that balance? It's like, listen, you want people to respect you and everything, but you can't worry so much about what everybody else thinks, because the reality is, no matter what you do, especially doing the stuff I do, there's always people going to criticize you, right? Even if you don't do anything, people are going to criticize you because you're not doing anything. That's just human nature. It doesn't mean the other people are bad people. It's that people judge people. We shouldn't do it as much. That's just, again, it's human nature. So if you're sitting around worried like, oh, Jesus, this person's going to like me the way I am. And that's one of the biggest things I've learned. That, listen, I know going into it, there's some people that are not going to do it or like what I do. Like going on Survivor. I know there's old teammates and stuff like, what the heck are you doing that for? But I got up and danced at Madison Square Garden for 18,000 people with Dancing Larry. Some of the guys like, what'd you do that for? They're going to do it. Or if they'd ask me and I didn't do it, then other people are going, well, why didn't you do it? So you just go do what you want to do. I mean, obviously you don't want to embarrass yourself, embarrass other people, or put yourself in danger. But if there's something you want to do, you can't sit around and say, well, okay, is everybody else going to accept what I want to do? It's just, no matter what, like I said, and it's not that you want to be this rebellious person or whatever, but it's just, people are always going to judge you, always going to make comments. And it's just, you do what you want to do. I just find, for me, since I've gotten to more of that mode where I just don't concern myself with everybody else thinks, like when I got dancing in front of 18,000 people and I'm awful. I've told the story before. This Taylor, really nice young woman that works for the Rangers, she had filmed me, and I got done, and I go, I went to her and I go, geez, I suck as a dancer, don't I? And she goes, yeah, you do, but you did it so hard. It was unbelievable. So I was like, yeah, that's what you look for. You're not good at it. Like, you don't be worried. That's the thing. Don't worry about failure too. Like, I've learned to say, like, if somebody asks me to do something now, I say yes. And I may go attempt to do it the first time and it doesn't work out right. And I'm careful here. I don't say fail. It just doesn't work the first time I try it. And they'll say, well, Tom, you said you could do it. So yeah, I'll do it. I've just not done yet. I tried it this time. It didn't work. And I'm going to learn from that and do it better, do it harder, and I'll eventually do it. So don't be afraid of failing. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I learned. Like, don't look at some project and say, well, I can't do that because I can't do this. But you'll learn. You'll learn and know that you'll make mistakes, and that's fine. Look at all the great people who've done great things. They didn't do it right necessarily the first time. What type of music motivates me? It isn't necessarily music for me. I've gotten into Spotify has it as well, or a lot of different places where people are doing motivational speeches, and they'll put music to the speech. So it's a combination of the words the person is saying and the music. It could be hip hop. I'm not a hip hop fan necessarily, but like a lot of times hip hop music, they're put to these videos, and that's really motivational. When I'm in the gym by myself in the morning, I listen to country music. I don't necessarily think that it is motivational music. I just really, to me, it isn't music per se that gets me motivated. It's the thoughts, like somebody be talking about, telling a story about somebody in the past, like, the Jocko Willniks and those kind of guys that do stuff. So to me, that's what gets me going more. Okay, let me see. Yeah, CC. Years ago, Stern had same hot naked babe, and Fred dropped, "Hey now." That's funny stuff. I like that. Put this attributes in a woman in order of importance: looks, brains, empathy, money, healthy lifestyle, great body, gets up early, eats healthy, huge mouth. Slowly Costco. Okay, so I would not say, probably when I was younger, I'd say this differently. I don't think looks are the top priority. It's a combination of the person being a healthy person, healthy physically and mentally. There's nothing for me, for a man, especially at my age now, when I sit down with a woman and all she wants to do is talk about her exes and past relationships and how bad the other man was, and he was a narcissist and all that kind of stuff. To me, okay, listen, we've all had past relationships as it's part of getting older. But that's the past. I don't, okay, when you first meet each other, you want to talk about those to understand what the person's been through. But to drag that into a current relationship, to me, that's like, oh man, they sit down as a man, you start hearing the woman talk for an hour about her ex. Oh my God. Like, so it's more the money issue. I mean, yeah, I don't want her to think that I'm a blank check or a credit card that I'm going to take care of everything. She's got to, if I'm with a woman, I really love a woman, then I'm going to take care of it in every way. But healthy lifestyle is very important. like it doesn't have to be a great body. It means to be a healthy body. But like it's a healthy mind too. Like all that negativity, like and not trying to change a man. Like we are like no woman is going to be perfect, and I'm certainly not perfect, and no men are perfect. It's like either you accept the way that person is, or move on. It's like I saw a where was it? Oh, it was that Jonas, the actor, whatever. He had this girlfriend, and she posted all his texts, and he was saying to her, "Here's what I want in a relationship. I don't want you on social media with your butt cheeks hanging out and all that kind of stuff." And if she doesn't want to accept that, she doesn't have to. It doesn't mean that. But to me, I like the fact that he's being honest with her. This is what I want and don't want in a relationship, and tell that. And the person doesn't have to accept that, but that doesn't mean the other one is right or wrong. It's like, okay, this is what I want in a relationship. So let me see. Let me see. I guess it's tough when you're bald at a young age. Lauren Henning, Dave Ferris come to mind. Yeah. To me, I know some men in particular, really, that bald thing really, it makes them nervous. It never did. I don't know what it was. Some ways I like just shaving the head off. Like you drive down the road with the windows open, you don't have to worry about your hair. Let me see here, Jackie boy. I used to goof on my late dad's hair and well, that is the thing. You get to be an older man. You don't expect the hair coming out of your ear, nose, and everything. You got to maintain that. Man. You're a good man there, Ron Jameson. You're a good man. People care about you. So, all right, let me see here. That dance with Larry's news, I'll never forget. And if you do, I'll post it so you can remember it. Oh God, that was funny. I remember thinking myself, they called me up the first time. They said, "Tom, nobody else will do this. We don't think anybody else will do it. We should do it for us." I kind of paused at first. What am I pausing for? Yeah, I'm doing it. All right. That's funny. Tom should get it. Oh no, man, that's the one thing. Like Donald Trump, don't the comb over and everything. Just whatever it is, it is. That's absolutely not true. Listen, you want to be attracted to the woman you're with. You want to be like yeah, I think if you're with the woman, you want to be, you can't take your hands off her. But it's not just, especially as you get older, it's not just the body and the looks. It's a whole package. It's a smell and everything. I don't mean that in a rude way. It's like, I don't want to be like, I'm not really into makeup and perfume and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather the woman I'm with just totally natural. So that's me. That doesn't mean that the woman has to do it. It just means if she wants to wear makeup and perfume, she probably won't be with me because I don't like that stuff. Doesn't mean she's wrong in doing it. She's got the right to do it if she wants. I had a terrible stutter and used to think I'm dumb. My dad used to say you were smart. Management did 35 years. Retiring at 57. My dad believed me. That's cool, Jack. That's a great story. I like that a lot. I just said that's one of the best things that a parent can do for kids is don't take away their dreams and pound away the negativity about what they are what they are for kids, and just show them that. Listen, like and again, there's the social media. Everybody looks like they're perfect, right? Especially people post some pictures with bikinis on, perfect bodies, doing all this great stuff, flying around in private jets. It's phony. It's just not the way the normal person lives, and you don't have to. It doesn't mean you're less of a person because you don't do that. That's like, again, that's being around good people that are are happy that you're doing well in life. Like some of the worst thing is like you're around people and something good happens to you, and then they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about what's going on in their lives. Like your real good friend is somebody that you call up and say, "Wow, that's cool. I got to do this event the other day," and they go, "Oh, that's cool, Tom. That sounds like a great thing." Right? Like, so it's be around those kind of people. You have your choice of who you want to be around with. If somebody's picking up the phone and calling all the time, complaining about their life and talking, I've got to go. To me, I've learned to be very honest. Like if somebody's coming and calling me all the time, they're being very negative, I say, "Listen, I'm here for you, but let's be positive. Let's talk about the good things in life." And very often they're like, you can hear the silence at the other end, like, because they're just so used to being in this negative mode. Like you have the choice about how you want to live your life, about who you want to be around. Yeah, I would definitely do Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Oh, I'd love to do that. That would really be pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Newsflash. Hold on here. Here we go. Wow, late to the party, and this is a repeat. Oh God. Good morning, boys and girls. Wow, Tracy is back. Now here comes Ira, sucking up to her. God. Save Tommy. This is an educational show, Ira. We're doing a bit educating today. It's like you know what Tracy does. Here it is too. So she's 40 minutes late to the show. She knows exactly what's going on. I've said this, and every Thursday at 10 o'clock we're going to do this. But she wants to be the belle of the ball, right? She wants to walk in, make the big entrance. Hi Ira. Hi Dougie. Oh God. Ira, oh my goodness. Here we go. Here we go with the capitalized word, right? You ate my inspiration. You ate my inspiration. Oh, here we go. Positive attracts positive. Yeah, there she is, right? Big statements, the capitalized words. Here I am. I'm Tracy Marie. I'm here now. Everybody, I'll save the day. We're all here, Ron. We're all here for you. You're seriously, you're part of our family. So you need to remember that all the time. Okay, we're here for you. All right. Listening to you, Tom, and negativity may explain Katsi. I've heard. Well, Katsi is, well, that's, again, Katsi, I roomed with Katsi. It's not like there's I don't hate Katsi or whatever it is. It's just him and I live different lives. And that's pretty simple that way. And again, I'm not judging him. He lives the life he wants to live, but that's a good example of you decide who you want to hang around with. And you do have a choice. You don't have to put up with negativity, So if like Tracy wants to come in and, steal the show, I mean, you decide whether you want to be a part of that or not. So, Danny, come on, take my shit kind of woman. Well, let me see here. Okay, here she goes back. Have responsibilities. You're not the highlight of the day. You're not the highlight of the day at times. In my world, I am. Absolutely. Oh, he just, Katsi, I don't think Katsi hates me. We live different lives. Well, maybe he hates me. Oh, I'm not skipping over your comments. Listen, look at this. Look at this. Well, why are you skipping over my comments about what's good for you? I'm not skipping over any of your comments. You're making so many comments. Like, here I came in after 40 minutes. Now I have to steal the show. What do we got here? Ron, as bad or as tough as it can be, remember, it's temporary. It will change and it will get better. Absolutely. Yes. And that's a good point, but Deb, we're talking to Ron Jameson there. You know what? And that's remembering that you're a good person. People really care about you and love you. Right, that's a big part of it. So we are here for you. Nope, no AC. You know what? I've gotten to the point now where it isn't even like a thing to me that like the thought about putting on AC. Yeah, poor Tommy Smith when he comes over to the studio here at my God, and I like now I'll have I have the fan on here, but he's very professional, so we don't want the fan on in the background when we're doing the Full Change podcast. So there's no fan on, so he gets a little toasty upstairs here. No window on because your dogs are barking. Oh God. Gazi. He unfriended me, told me I'm gonna suck up the late line. Oh God. It was the funniest thing I told her. It was the golf tournament last summer, and I was sitting with Nikki at a table, and Katsi was at the table beside us, and he had his back to us. And all of a sudden he turns around and starts growling, like looking at me, knock it off. He goes, and I hadn't done anything. But Nikki's fun. He's a funny man, right? And I forgot. I looked over at Nikki, and he's got the shitty grin on. He was throwing stuff in the back of Katsi's head. Katsi thought I was doing it. I didn't know. And I'm looking, go like, what the heck's your problem? And I looked at Nikki, and he's dying laughing. Oh, it's funny. Yeah. My wife insists that no air AC is a deal breaker with women. Yeah. Probably, yeah. So, there's a lot of things with me that's a deal breaker with women. Oh. I see you posted Tim Hunter on Full Change. Can't wait to listen to Timmy. He has said Nick was, yeah. Timmy, you know what? That was the first time I'd actually even, well, we'd spoken on the ice a couple times, so that wasn't too pleasant. Totally admired him, though. Like, what I really liked from him, and you'll hear this in the podcast, were really knowing his role. Like, sometimes that fourth line guy kind of gets a little bit, why am I not playing more or whatever? But he didn't just embrace the role, but he really, when young kids came up, he would talk about how he really schooled them and said, listen, you're on the fourth line right now, and here's how you have to handle yourself. So it wasn't just doing it and accepting it. It was embracing it, understanding his role and how important it was to the team, that tough guy, fourth line kind of guy. So, Mr. Larry Melnick. So, you missed at the start of the show, he'd sent me, I think, an inebriated email last night that I got this morning, saying that he sent 2 emails to Jackie and hadn't got a response. He was a little upset, but he'd forgotten, I think because of the PBRs, that I had already explained to him that I spoke to Jackie and that they're trying to plan something special for this year's golf tournament. And they don't know if the person that they're trying to get there can make it or not as of now. Once they find that out, that will determine which players will be invited to the golf tournament. So obviously the players that played while this person was part of the organization will be more likely to be invited. So that's where it's at. So, so to be determined. Okay, let me see here. I think that every time Atlanta hockey is important. Yes, and that's a good point, Danny. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're seeing in football now, right? Where like Saquon Barkley, is that him? Saquon Barkley, or I would say his first name. Arguably is the most valuable player on the Giants right now. But especially as like Daniel Jones signs his contract for like $40 million a year, or they had an lineman signed for a big contract the other day. You pay the players based on what you have to pay them, and the running backs at this time in the NFL are viewed as they're very important parts of the team, but they break down and get hurt. So teams are not willing to give them long-term, high-money deals. And the same thing with NHL teams. It's the fourth line. Yeah, you're right. You can't win by just having your top 6 forwards be great and then the bottom 6 can't play. Same thing as defensemen. You have to have a good backup goaltender. So all those things are important. You look at you have to have, to me, again, you look at Tampa winning their cups. Yeah, they had their star players, but man, they had it deep through the lineup. The injuries, guys got to play. So, well, Tracy, as we've discussed, we need to have some ground rules, like where we, new picture for you too. Very nice. Those are your kids. Right. Good job by you. Good job. Little movie star. Look at you with the sunglasses on there and everything. No, you're not out for the wedding date. We just need to come to a meeting of the minds, right? So find out who's the boss and who isn't. Oh, let me see. Yeah. My sister and bro-in-law just passed 31 years, and she puts the AC on at 70 and runs over and puts it. AC wasn't a deal breaker. Right. I do think that's a woman. Like women, yeah. I mean, men can deal with temperatures aren't that important. Right? It is what it is. Why am I? Hold on here. I'm a capital letters and multiple S's. So she went to town on that jackass. Jackass. So she's probably shaking her head too. Like, you're a jackass. Man, it's called communication, Tracy. Communication. We need to communicate. We'll get on the phone. We'll communicate. And we'll see. Maybe do a 3-way call. We Ira on the call. He can kind of referee the call. He can be the mediator. Yeah. He shut Ken Jensen on. He's hysterical. Yeah, I've listened to his show. Actually, I know the guy he does it with. When I was back in the Asian business, he was just, I can't remember his name now. Strickland, Andy Strickland. So he was just getting started. He was doing part of a podcast. Oh, and we will be, there's a podcast called hockeybuzz.com. If you guys watch it, and we'll be starting to post our Full Change podcast on there as well. It's a fun thing. He's been around for a long time. He was actually this guy that does this podcast, Hockey Buzz. His name's Dwayne. He calls himself Eklund. His favorite player was Eklund, playing for the Flyers. So during the lockout in 04-05, he started a blog, you'd call it, and nobody knew who he was, but he was tied in with a lot of players, so he's getting all the scoops of what was going on during the negotiations. And everybody's like, they couldn't figure. Part of the mystique was nobody could figure out who he was. They thought he was all these different reporters and everything. So, so we've been friends for a long time, and so we'll be posting a podcast there as well. Okay, Tracy, let's get down to it here. Ground rules. You mean your rules? Well, I think it's important that, when you enter into an agreement, that both parties are clear about what their expectations are in that agreement. So, yeah. Tom, love listening to Full Change, but don't know where to find the Zoom to see you and Tom. Yeah, so this is just like the regular podcast. It is just an audio version of it. We do post clips on Facebook and Instagram to promote it, but again, it's just the audio version, like a lot of these podcasts are. So we could post more of the audio. Again, we do it. We record it instead of doing it live like we're doing now. So we have all that. So we could post those later on, guys, if everyone really wants to see it. Yeah, let's put that there right now. See, this, I like this. So I'm going to read this so Tracy understands. This is a statement she's making. She's not asking a question. She's making a statement that, yes, it's my rules. Okay. Let me see. The Rangers know that a good backup goalie is important. Valiquette isn't going to. Yeah, that's part of the issue, right? We have a real stud goaltender like Shesterkin or Vasilevsky down in Tampa. Obviously, they're going to eat up a big chunk of your cap too. So now to get a quality backup goaltender, you got to get that right guy, right? That is willing to play like that 15 games a year, and he can't be making a ton of money either. So either that's a veteran guy that maybe has had his run at being a number one guy, or it's a young kid coming up. Prefer that's the best way to draft a young goaltender, have him be a good young stud goaltender, work his way up, and then you trade him like they did with I can't remember his name now. They traded him to Colorado. Okay. I don't know. I love it. Philly fans fly, Eagles fly. I love the show, Tommy. Thank you very much. Again, so just I think the tickets are all sold out. A week from today at Terry Connor's Rink in Stamford, Connecticut. There's a great event. It's Shoulder Check. So family from Darien lost their son about a year ago. It's a young 16-year-old hockey player. So they're doing they really want to have this. This is the kickoff event. There's a lot of current players. I think Kreider's playing, Fox is playing, Dave Maloney and I will be there. So we have fun of it. But again, it's an ongoing movement. It's called Shoulder Check. Specifically, it isn't. I shouldn't say specifically. They're targeting young people. Again, their son was 16 years old. Going to them and say, listen, support each other. Make sure you reach out to people. Are you okay? You feel like hurting yourself, or you're depressed, whatever it is. But it isn't just for young people; it's for people of all ages. So it's a great event to be part of. Let me see here. CC. Okay, thanks. Little clips and thought I was doing something. No. Yeah, so it's just again, we will down the road here start posting. We could post the whole thing. So it's a lot of fun doing that. It really surprised me doing the Full Change podcast. I didn't know some of the stories that we're going to hear from the players, some of the things they've been through after, and they're doing now to help other people. So, see here. I don't know if you heard, but Steve Carlson had a bad cyclist versus auto accident he faced. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. That's happened to a few people. I think Paul Holmgren had that, an accident like that as well. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that about him. Okay, if you had balls, you would have Tracy Marie on. Okay, let's go. We'll do it next Thursday, 10 o'clock. Oh, if Tracy can be here on time. See, here's the problem. So we're going to say, Tracy's coming on at 10 o'clock. She won't show up until like 10:40, right? Like then she'll make the grand entrance, the hair done and all that kind of stuff, sunglasses on, makeup, perfume, all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what, Danny, you know what? I'll do that. I will reach out to the great Tracy Marie and say, Tracy, can I beg you to come on the show and see what happens? I can't guarantee it. I'll do my part, but I can't guarantee her reaction. So, yeah. See here. If you go through life again, what 3 things would you do differently? I know it makes like I wouldn't change anything. Honest to God. I mean, I love what I am right now. I don't mean that in a conceited way. I just more like talked to Ron earlier on, like really loving your own life. So I wouldn't listen. I made tons of mistakes, but I got to tell you, every time I made a mistake, I came back. I learned to come back from that and go harder and get better at what I was doing. Like if I hadn't made the mistakes I made, I probably wouldn't be. I don't know if I would have be lucky enough to play in the NHL and do the True Good Life stuff, the Survivor. Like I just learned from mistakes I made that I can recover from mistakes. Like people say about learning from your mistakes. To me, it's more you're going to make mistakes, So once that mistake happens, it's how do you react after? It's like going harder after. So when I tried out for the Canadian Olympic team, going in my senior year in college, did the stupid stuff and got kicked off the team. It made me go back to college and say, I need to really pick up my game here, mentally, physically, become more of a leader, all those things, and help me in ultimately what I did. So please get Jeep back now. Oh, look at, I said now. It's not okay. Now that he isn't responsible for ice, he can come back, and then we have eye candy and sweetness. So obviously you can see what Tracy's doing there, right? So she's giving Jeep a compliment by giving Jeep the compliment, like she's like saying that I'm not sweet or I'm not eye candy, right? That's basically where she's going with that. And she wants to go to a wedding with me. Like that's the treatment. See, this is the issue here that I have is go to the wedding, and that's the way I'm going to be treated. So we got some work to do on that. Tracy, you need to get Tommy out to Suffolk County Tuesday night for the sheriff's event. I'd love to go to it. It's just we need to be careful, like that I get invited by the Rangers. Like there's a protocol to go through it. Yeah. Hold on. Tracy, I thought Laidlaw satisfied your sweet tooth. See? Thank you, Danny, for sticking up for me there. Yeah. Like, you know what she's doing there, right? Like, she's trying to, again, it's a compliment to Jeep, but it's also a dig towards me that I'm not sweet and I'm not eye candy, right? You guys can see that. I just don't want you guys to be fooled by the things that Tracy does here, like her little mind games that she's got going here. Let me see here. Next week. Yes. Also, Tracy, so Ira is confirming this. Next Tuesday is the Suffolk County Sheriff's Night Out event, I think, right? Yeah. Let's see here. What do we got going here? My first year watching the Rangers, we had Terry Sawchuk. I went to Boston Garden. There we go. That's a good job, Jack. Nice. Okay, here we go. Wow, you have no clue. I am so not that girl. Maybe that's the problem you have with me mistaken with all those idiots in your fan club. Oh, jeez. Wow. Ira Matthew, he'd marry Miss America. He'd marry Miss America. Okay, let's go here. Let's go. Ira Matthew, do you really care about what he would have done differently? Can we stop all the hype about this leader? Jeez. See, and this is the person that wants to go to a wedding with me. This is like spending. It's an emotional event. It's a bonding event. Where Tracy and I went together. We, get closer and all that kind of stuff. And then there's all this stuff that she says about me. It's like, let me see here. Have you recovered enough from the food poisoning to wear normal? Well, that was the thing. During that 2 weeks, I had to make sure I had timed things properly. That if I was going to, go to Costco or whatever, I had to make sure we'd had a little event there in the bathroom, make sure everything's cleared out. All good now, though. All good. All under control. Thank you for caring about me, Ira. See, when you make that comment, Ira, I know that you care about me. You're honestly concerned. Yes. So Bob Nystrom, you're definitely having on. We've gone back and forth with him. Again, had his son on the show. Paul Holmgren, I've reached out to him. Actually, Tom's reached out to him. I haven't heard back from him. So problem is some of these guys, they're getting older. It's like the technology side of it, as we saw with the Gresh when we first started our other show. It's just they just don't do it. So they need somebody around to help them. So okay, here we go. You're not taking me to the wedding, so why not say what I have to say? Well, who says I'm not taking the wedding? Wow. It's we need to communicate better, Tracy, you and I. Okay. All right. If you were bringing back Gilligan's Eyes, you would cast on Gilligan's as the skipper. Gilligan, what I cast as a skipper or Gilligan? Oh. Well, the skipper was a little overweight, right? I mean, I really. So I have to go with Gilligan. If you give me the choice of those two, I have to go with Gilligan then, yeah. Well, Ira, geez, you jumped ship pretty quick. Tracy is a rock star. Okay. Let me see here. Stop the madness, Laidlaw. Taking me to the wedding is just more material for your shows. So stop. Wow. See, so I'm going to reach out to Tracy, so everybody knows, and I'm going to ask her, like I said, beg her to get on the show next Tuesday so we can clear the air on all these issues. Okay. And I think that this needs to be done, right? There's somebody that you really don't know that well. There's people are forming opinions of each other. It's a lack of communication. Let me see here. If you had a problem at Costco, you could text the chicken man and have him run over the pharmacy to get some Depends. Yeah, he would do that for me too. He's a fun guy. Norris the chicken man, one of the greatest people. I watch him, and people are always just coming up to him. It's like they're going to Costco to hang out with him. Funny guy. Always like people are showing him pictures of their family and everything, and he's a happy man. He's in his 50s, kids and the whole bit. But he sees me coming, he kind of tries to hide because I yell his name across Costco. People are looking at us like, what is wrong with these people? God, that's funny. Okay. Tom, be thankful that Pepper only books Biden's dog. Oh, I know, yeah. Biden's dog. Biden doesn't even know if the dog's venom too. But it is what I was thinking of something there too. Oh, Pepper got loose the other day. I've seen this happen before. When it just goes running over to this delivery man or something and barking all the time, and the mother goes, "He doesn't bite. He just barks." No kidding. Let me see here. Tracy Marie, I think that I would pay to make that happen. Okay, so I'm going to do my parts. Everybody knows. I'm going to reach out to her right away as soon as the show's done today and try to book it. Now, again, I cannot confirm or make Tracy Marie, the great Tracy Marie, do anything she doesn't want to do. So, yes. Dave Maloney with the professor. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, Dave is an intelligent guy. We're doing an interview. I think, and again, I'm speculating Dave's not said this to him, but I remember we were doing the show there before with Gresh and Jeep and Mel and Dave. He was loving it, but I think it just wasn't like Dave has built a reputation, and I totally respect this too. It's like the very respectful gentleman, and that's certainly not what was going on that Thursday afternoon show. So, very quiet construction workers. Very good. Again, I talked at the top of the show where they're coming in with the power washers to clean the outside of the building, obviously not doing the inside. And I have 2 tiki torches in my back deck there to keep bugs away when I'm outside enjoying adult beverage. And they knocked the one tiki torch over and broke it. So my immediate thought was, okay, go out there and lecture those people. And I realized I don't use the tiki torch. I only use one at a time. So it's old one. It's like 5 years old. It's a bamboo thing. So I went outside, and one guy was looking at me like, "Oh God, what's he going to do?" And I was like, "No problem." Laughed, joked about it, and he was happy. So good deed for the day. Let me see here. Let me see what Tracy's got. Dan, I was thinking about we should do a fundraiser on the show and have 3 eligible dates for him, and whatever raises the most money for his charity goes to the wedding. Tracy, but I thought you were coming to the wedding with me. What is going on here? The communication issues, really got to clean this up. Okay, here we go. I do a job during the day. I'm about to go into Catholic Labrador for a procedure. So it all depends on schedule. Boss. That's right. She's calling me the boss. Yeah, we like that. The tiki torches are in Laidlaw's sex garden. That's just not right. Let me see here. I can see Dave chewing the fat in the liquor store. Actually, his last day was 2 days ago at the liquor store. I was talking to him on the phone. Again, we're going to this event. Great event. I need to promote it one more time. At Terry Connor's Rink in Stamford, Connecticut. Next Thursday, week from today at 6 o'clock. Shoulder Check is the name of the foundation. Family lost their son, about a 16-year-old son, a young hockey player of Darien a year ago. And they're doing this it's to raise awareness for, particularly kids, but not limited to kids, to help other kids, to reach out and say, listen, you're okay. And great events. Some current Rangers are there. Fox is there. Zegras, I think, is going to be, I know he's not a Ranger, but he's there. Kreider is going to be there. And myself and Dave Maloney and some other players as well. So, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm one of the 3 prospects. I don't like to, it's like you need to focus on each other, Tracy. You can't be having other women involved in the relationship. That's just not right at all. either we, can get along or not. To have like a competition. I don't think that's right, but wow. What was the last movie you saw? You know what? It's been years. I think it was a couple of years before the pandemic, even. So probably been 4 or 5 years. I can't remember the last movie I saw in the movie theater. I would like to see that new movie. What is it? Sound of Silence, or is that what it was? I tell you, not to get on the soapbox too much, but all the stories behind that movie, where it was made for 5 years in places like Netflix and Amazon, it gives you the impression that and we know this, the sex trafficking and abuse issue amongst kids, not just kids, but particularly kids, is huge around the world. And it's a problem that we just want to sweep under the rug. And you kind of wonder that a lot of the prominent people, are they sweeping it under the rug because they're involved with it, like the Epstein case and all these things. They talk about all the number. And again, I got more familiar with it. It wasn't about sex slavery, but when I represented Sheldon Kennedy, he'd be abused by his junior coach. And again, it took him years to finally come out about it and speak about it. So the fact that we don't hear it doesn't mean it's not. We know it's happening all over the place, and we need to do more about that. They'll talk to the pedophiles, the people doing it, and they'll talk about how they pick certain kids that come from broken homes, don't have a father in the home, and those kinds of things. So it's our responsibility as adults, whether they're our kids or not, to make sure that these kids are protected. It's a horrible thing. It happens way more, and it's a shame. It's a crime that it's not talked about more. I was reading the paper that I think I've got this correct. In California, they were trying to pass a law that sex slavery was a felony, and the politicians didn't pass the law. So now it's not a felony. It should be a death penalty. The damage it does to kids, not just the physical damage, the emotional damage it does to kids, it affects the rest of their lives. So the fact that, again, that it's being allowed to happen, it's not like it should be a major story every day on all news sources that this has got to stop. And again, it's up to us as adults to make sure it stops. We don't need to have permission from politicians or whatever to tell us we need to stop. We as people ourselves need to start stopping it and stop listening to the politicians, because again, they're not doing anything about it. They only care about getting paid their money and getting reelected. So it's up to us as people, just in general. Every time we're walking down the street, you see some young person in the mall, and kids wandering around without a parent. You need to step up and say, okay, sorry, is your mother or father around? Like, we just should not allow it ourselves. So, okay. What we got going here? Lately, I told the guy your ass is grass, and I'm the lawnmower. Sean Avery. Is he? He's in Oppenheimer? I didn't know that. I won't be watching that. Let me see. Well, he's in the Democrats for all. Yeah. And Tricia, I hear you. I'm more. I'm a patriot, how I look at it, and I just think you start doing more homework on. Like there's a lot of reels now. Again, some of it's just conspiracy theories, but they talk about like BlackRock and Vanguard, these two investment banks. I think they're investment banks, whatever, and the trillions of dollars that they're worth, and all the things that they control, the politicians they control. And again, I get stuck on especially this time of the year where there's much going on. I stuck watching these reels. And again, some of this is conspiracy theory, but that's why I think we've gotten to this thing where we're allowing other people to make decisions for our lives. And I think that it's more important that we step up now and say, no, this is done. We're going to take control of our lives. We're going to protect the kids. We're going to, we need to do more as individuals. Don't be afraid to step up. If you see somebody on the street, whatever it is, and just, step in and say, you're okay. If it was a child, an adult, whatever. And if, like I said, I did that with an elderly woman on the street and she yelled at me. But so what? If you get yelled at or somebody gets assaulted because you're trying to help somebody, that's fine. Life's going to still go on. You just don't know how you could be helping some other person down the road. So, let me see here. I shot the Rocky Wirtz died. I didn't realize. I didn't realize he passed away. That's just recently. I didn't see that. I'm an American, but what's right is right. Totally. Yeah. I agree. Everybody's going to have their own beliefs, Democrat, Republican, left, right, all those different things. And I think people should be allowed to, it shouldn't be a debate. If you want to be Republican, Democrat, go do that. To me, that's your decision. It's how we're allowing the politicians to, It's not supposed to be the way it is. We, as the people, are supposed to determine how this country is run, not the politicians, right? And I think that we need to do more of ourselves to help other people. What happens to the rich commercial? We had some issues behind the scenes. I won't go into the details of it. Found out some stuff that I wasn't too happy with. So, as we talked before, you make sure you're around people that you want to be around. So, again, I won't make comments on, I have my beliefs on it. So, let's see. The NBA has an amazing CBA. The NHL is a lousy CBA. The NFL is a lousy CBA. I hate the Rangers losing players. Well, I don't agree. I don't think the NHL has a lousy CBA. The NBA has a fantastic CBA, but it's also much more higher revenue source too. Like the NHL, a lot of people want to boo Gary Bettman and everything. The NHL, when he started 20 some years ago, the revenues were like $600 or $700 million league wide. Now I think they're closing in on $6 billion. So again, that they've gone through several contract CBA negotiations, got to the point where it's pretty stable now, where it's a 50-50 split. So if it's $6 billion, there's some expenses taken out off the top, $200 million, and then it's the basic split. Now, the one issue that players really don't like too much is the escrow, where so at the start of the year, they estimate what the revenues are going to be, but they really don't know for sure. So it's calculated. They do this calculation every year where they'll hold back anywhere, I think it's like 10 to 20% of every paycheck for every player, and that's held in escrow. And then at the end of the year, then they know the exact numbers, and then they either refund money to the players or that's held onto and distributed to the teams. So the players don't like all that. So when you see the players making $10 million, he isn't actually necessarily getting the $10 million. In fact, he's not getting the $10 million right away. At the end of the year, it's determined how much of that $10 million salary he actually gets. So, but again, the NHL does not generate, especially with TV revenue, that the other leagues do. So if you look at just the numbers that the players are making and the cap, it's not necessarily about the CBA. It's about the revenues that are coming in. So, the NFL has the worst. Yeah, that union, the Players Association, has not stuck together. The lifespan of the players is just so short. It's really hard to get everybody to say, okay, most of the average players are only going to play 2 or 3 years. So now we're going to go into a CBA negotiations, and now that entails a lockout or a holdout. And players are saying, I'm only going to play 2 years, and I'm going to sit out for a year of that 1 year and probably never come back and play because now misses that whole year. So it's hard to get everybody to hold together. So, let's get back to Tuesday night. What's it going to take for you to come out to Tracy? If I get to hang out with you, that's all I need, just so we can sit, have some quiet time, and really discuss my ground rules or the ground rules. That's really all to know that that'll happen. And the fact that you're going to come on the show next Thursday too. Tom, wouldn't you like to see a soft cap where you have Larry Bird rights and can sign your players over the actual cap? People look at the cap as a bad thing. It continues to rise every year as the revenues go up. I mean, yeah, from the players' side, yes, you'd like to have no cap. But then what's going to happen is if you have a soft cap or no cap whatsoever, the teams, like it was in the past, the teams generate more revenue. Like in the past, it was the Rangers, Colorado, Detroit. They had more revenue. Owners would spend more money. It just becomes the same teams are going to be winning all the time because the teams at the bottom end can't afford. Because now part of the cap is revenue sharing. So a team in a smaller market, like a Florida or a Carolina, whatever, they get revenue from the league as well. So it isn't just the revenue they're generating. So that's all part of the cap package. The owners aren't going to say, okay, there's no cap. You can spend what you want, but then they're not going to help other teams, right? That's the trade-off with the collective bargaining agreement. So again, as much as you may say, listen, the cap is terrible, the players don't get paid as much, and now you have to trade players. That's all part of it. Every team faces the same thing. So it isn't the same team winning all the time, and every team has to manage the cap. So it's not necessarily about the cap. It's the reality that, okay, you build up. The idea is if you're a good organization, you draft properly, develop the players properly. They get these players at the when they're younger, make less money. There's a entry level cap. Entry level salaries are much lower, and then as they get older, if you've developed them properly, now you have a better chance of winning a cup, and then now you can trade them after a while or hold on. It's however you manage that caps. I think Tracy's referring to me coming my stipulations of me coming out to the event on Tuesday, but let me see. I'm actually in Southampton right now at the hospital. I should go visit Mark after I get off. Yeah, definitely. Mark Puttenvink. Yeah, probably have his shirt off. Well, yeah. And that's the thing, too. So you look at the Mets this year, and Steve Cohen comes in there, owns the team now. He spent like $350 million on this payroll for this year. It doesn't guarantee anything. The Mets are not a very good team right now. So it's just like there's this assumption then that it's more how you develop players. Not this was a system in place. Remember after the 04 or 05 lockout, it came back with these new rules, cutting down on the hooking and holding, and speeding up the game and all that. And first everybody's like, "Oh, this is terrible. The players figured it out." It's the same thing with this cap system. At first you go, "Oh, this is terrible." If you manage the cap properly, teams continue to win. Look what Tampa did. Now they got some help when Kucherov was hurt, so they had that long-term injury clause where they didn't have to count his salary against the cap. So those kinds of things helped them. But, and I was critical of Vegas, the way they managed it. As much as George McPhee's a good friend of mine, former teammate, he's the president now. I thought they were doing some things, but they won the cup. So it's managing that cap system. It is what it is. It's a cap. I think it's made the league a stronger league from top to bottom. I hate that we had to deal with Snevich. Development gave him away because of money. I know. I hear you, especially from a fan's point. You see the player that you think he's going to be a good player, and he is a good player. He's hard-nosed. He takes some bad penalties and does some silly stuff out there. But again, you can almost look, okay, you're trading away a player. You say, well, he didn't get much for him, but you're trading away a player to get cap space. So you're basically what you got for him was that cap space now to put another player in there. So that's like people see, well, was Goudreau left Calgary and they got nothing for him. Well, yes, they got nothing for him, but they got cap space, right? So then they were able to trade Tkachuk. Again, they were forced to trade Tkachuk because he said he wasn't coming back. And now they go and get other players. Now it didn't work out well for them last year, but the players they got, when those trades happened and those acquisitions happened, people were like, "Well, I thought, wow, they really did a good job in that case." So, yeah, it's frustrating for fans in particular because they see, well, why are we having like Chicago years ago? They win their cups and they had to trade Bufflin away and all that. They wouldn't have won their cups if they didn't do what they did. They had to go and get those higher paid players so they were good enough to win, knowing full well that once they won, that they were going to have to get rid of some people because they couldn't afford it under the cap. So, what does Susan got here? If you could play the lead actor in any movie or TV show, who would it be? Well, it's got to be a John Wayne movie. One of my all-time favorites was The Cowboys, John Wayne. So he's a farmer, had to get his sons had passed away, so he didn't have them to help him farm. They had to get the cattle to market, and it was during a gold rush. So the only people around with these kids in a one-room schoolhouse. So he went and got all the little boys at the age from 7 to 15 or something to be his cowboys. So he was basically the father out he had to protect them and everything. And the bad guys show up and they want to steal the herd. They kill John Wayne, and then he had built these kids up to be young men. So they then retaliated against then got the herd back and killed the bad guys. And so John Wayne, the Cowboys. What's his name? I can't remember his name in the movie either. Yes, Barry and I, thank you, Ira, for bringing that up. I apologize. Barry lost his mother. Poor Barry's gone through all that stuff with his son being involved with the PAV situation, now lost his mother. We emailed each other and told him I was there for him, and he got right back to me, and appreciate that. I think it's a little, you're losing a parent. I've lost both mine. Anybody that has lost a parent, it still hurts. It's just she was older, and he seemed more like his comment to me was, well, she had a fantastic life, so it wasn't much of a shock to him, but still, it's your mother, and it still hurts. So, okay, what do we got here? Speaking of crap, did you see the movie of the dog on the speedboat taking a dump in the logs fall? I didn't see that. That's good. I got to look that up. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. I think if you get paid to come out to the event, you'll come. Jeez, see, I just think, okay, let's get this straight, everybody. I just expressed, Tracy asked me directly, what would it take for you to come out there? And I told the opportunity to sit with Tracy and communicate properly as two adults. And then she turns it into that. No, that's not what it is. I need to get paid. Man, it's like, I think I'm going above and beyond here to try to, be the adult here, Bronco. Oh, Bronco Billy, Clint Eastwood. That's funny. Oh yeah, Bonanza. I used to watch that all the time. Absolutely, Big Hoss and Little Joe. Yep. I've been watching. Oh yeah, it's a good show. Yeah. Let's see. That was no dog. It was Tom on Survivor. Huh? God. What do we got here, Jack? We recently saw John Wayne McHugh from Night. Oh yeah. Dirty Harry. Yep. Love John Wayne, but Clint Eastwood. Yeah. See, I think Clint Eastwood changed over time. Like John Wayne, people say was not a great actor. He played the same character pretty much every movie. It's just different names or whatever. Where Clint Eastwood, like he had those spaghetti westerns, and then he became like what's the movie he was in? Mule. Man, that was a good movie. That was a tearjerker. And then there was the Gran Torino was good. Like he really turned into a different actor as he got older. Mule, that was an emotional one. That scene where his ex-wife, I think it was dying in the hospital, and he went to see her. Oh man, that was a good movie. I'm much more of a Clint Eastwood fan now than I was when he was younger. Okay, I'm sorry for everybody that the back and forth with Tracy and I got a little nasty there. I apologize. I really felt like I was trying to do my best to, keep it civil, adult. But so I'll be reaching out to Tracy right away here as promised. And again, I cannot guarantee her response whatsoever. We'll try to get her on the show next Thursday. That'll probably be we'll advertise that show. That'll be like there'll be a lot of people watching that one. So a big show. All right, everybody have a great week. Again, I believe it's sold out. Terry Connor's Rink on Thursday. Shoulder Check is the name of the project. Again, that will be an ongoing project, we'll call it. The inaugural event again will be next Thursday at 6:00 at Terry Connor's Rink in Stamford, Connecticut. Shoulder Check. You can go online, I think, to see all the information. Again, there'll be current players there. I know Chris Kreider, Fox. I can't remember some other players. Zegras, I think, is going to be there. And again, Dave Maloney and I will be there as well. We won't be on the ice. We're potentially the father that started this whole thing, Shoulder Check. We're going to try to get him on a show to promote it before. If it doesn't happen, again, it's already sold out. But again, it'll be an ongoing project to try to raise awareness that particularly young people reach out to each other and help each other. Ask, do you need help? But it's not just children; it's for anybody. But fantastic event to be part of and to be something for the future. So again, that's a good reminder for us too. There's that 988 hotline for mental health and suicide prevention. But again, we got to do more for each other. Just reaching out and helping each other. If you don't know the person even, but if you think somebody's in trouble or danger of hurting themselves, I think one of the biggest things, just reaching out to each other and showing that person that somebody there cares about them. And again, run the risk of them getting offended or whatever. So what? If they joked around about the elderly woman on the street there, kind of yelling at me like, "No, I don't need help." It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to change my day. So, all right, everybody. Let me see here. And the important here is just Ira. I'm just kidding. All right. So everybody, let's really make a point. Let's our group here. Let's make we don't have to have somebody else telling us to do it. Let's really reach out and help other people and really make a change in people's lives. So everybody, we'll see you next week when Tracy's on.